Hi, I'm Bonnie McDonald Dixon, and we have Ann Crawford today. And we are going to be chatting about what is your plan B for 2023. We are into our third quarter or second quarter of the year. And I don't know what went on for you the last 12 weeks or 14 weeks, but there's been exciting things going on. And we just want to see how we can help. So, Ann has been a career transition coach for over 17 years. She shares a highly effective process that supports individuals in creating the careers and personal lives they've always wanted. I'm really impressed. She also specializes in the military personnel returning to civilian life. And I so appreciate that. And for your service, Ann, and helping others.
Thanks.
And then myself, I've had a portfolio career, a lifelong health advocate, a miracle ready coach, a co host for Storyvan TV, which we're doing right now, an author of How to Get a Job You Love and Change One Belief. My story in that one was The Perfect Job. I'm a speaker and a horse and coffee lover, and I hold space for people to become healthy, wealthy campers. Campers not needed, just healthy and wealthy is good. So today, Ann and I are going to be talking about transformation. Ann, I'd like you to just share a bit. When we talked about transformation, what comes to your mind when you're helping people doing career change?
When I, when it comes to mind for me is when they have those aha moments, Bonnie. We've all had them, where all of a sudden some clarity comes into practice, and they leave one aspect of their life behind, and they decide to go forward with another one. It's like you've been born. It's like we're springtime here and the flowers are popping. They're in transformation time. So that's what I think of. What do you think of?
I That's a really good analogy with springtime and flowers. They start off, unseen, maybe under the ground as a bulb, and they're coming up and they're starting to go like this, wow, and then their life fades and it goes away. But it's all set in motion. We don't have to do a thing. The flower knows what to do. But we as humans kind of get stuck somewhere.
Right.
Sometimes we're doing something and we start living in our heads of, well, we've got to do this and this for someone else. We get
Mm-hmm.
stuck. So many reasons we get stuck. And what I think of transformation, it's when it hurts more to stay where you are than to burst through the ground and burst open, because sometimes it just gets really painful. And that shows up in different ways, doesn't it, Anne?
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Stagnation, you name it. I think we've got
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of them listed, and boy, it's not pleasant when you're stuck there. Did you see
It
no
isn't.
option, no way?
I'm
Absolutely.
trying to get this little slideshow to show here. Let's see if we can get that. Has all the good juicy stuff here. Oh, there we go. So I like this. I like this slide because it has some words that we can use when we are in transition, or we don't might not even know we're in transition, but we're feeling it. Do you see some words there that
Yeah.
you talked about?
I'll tell you, when you talk about transformation, that word awake really resonates with me, and I hope it does with everyone else watching this. Because when you go for that transformation, it is like your body waking up, just like that flower felt the warmth of the sun that brought it forward. When you go through transformation and you really feel yourself changing, you feel more awake in your life. Then you begin to observe what your behavior was telling you and what you want your behavior to move forward with. So those two resonate with me. Which two resonate with you, Bonnie?
I saw the uh, be here now, and I think sometimes people are living in the past a lot,
Yep.
or they're living in the future. Oh, well, someday when I win the lottery, or someday when I retire, or someday. There is no actual day called someday. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's no someday. People have a weird
Good.
thing about that.
Yeah, that's
So
excellent.
the be here now, and then just looking through all of them. Aware, just that really grabbed me too, because sometimes we close our eyes and we don't want to be aware, but if we just open our eyes, and particularly like working with someone like yourself, Anne, where you can help them open their eyes. They're feeling uncomfortable, it's hurting, they
Yes.
don't know how to open their eyes, and you actually help them open their eyes. I
Yeah.
really believe that, becoming aware of oneself, one's feelings, so your surroundings.
It's true. It's true. It's interesting during training periods with the military. It's all about awareness, and it never leaves you once you leave the military. Do you see
Hmm.
people? I can spot them a mile away. These military people, especially in a restaurant, they have to sit a certain way. They're constantly looking, and you're actually saying to them, "Are you listening to me?" Because they're so trained to be aware. But it's a good
Yeah.
thing because it kept them for survival. But when we're trying to transform into somebody else, but still be ourselves, only a better version, it is
Mhm.
imperative to be aware of what you just said, your past life, and how you
Mhm.
have to stop yourself by saying, I'm not going back there again. I see it all the time in my employment group where they want to go back to the horrible situations that were in their employment and their nasty bosses and how they were treated. And I'm like, stop it right there. Make yourself aware that you are in this negative talking phase because it's not going to do anything for you. You have to
Mhm.
realign your mind, awake, observe, and be aware, as they say, of
Mhm.
what you want for your future.
Mhm. I think as sometimes, and you might find this with your clients, people actually, it's frightening to them to think to do, quote, the work to
Yes.
get from where they are to where they need to go. They see it as this insurmountable mountain, but it's not when
Yeah,
you have someone guiding you, going up the
exactly.
trail, the Sherpa trail, then it's easy. You just follow that person.
Right.
They've done it before. They've helped others before, and it's been becomes
It's true.
easier or effortlessly almost sometimes. It's just being open to that possibility. So yeah,
Hmm.
here's where we're actually already started this. The transformation begins when you recognize those limiting beliefs, that log in the road, that big bad boss that you're working for that says you couldn't do anything. The mind from when we were a kid that says your parent says that you literally aren't can't won't make it in the world, right?
Right.
You bought into it.
I A perfect example of this was spoken today in my employment group. And this woman said that her friend's son heard from his guidance counselor when he was in middle school, you will never amount to anything. There's just really nothing out there for you. Can you imagine saying that to a student? You're their guidance counselor? Well, the mother was so enraged that she put her son in a different school that said, no, you stay here. Your potential is unlimited, which
Mhm.
changed his mind immediately. And he was like a captain in the military. He worked for NASA. He's now a teacher himself, and
Mhm.
he's accomplished amazing things. But I said, people take those kind of things two ways. You're either going to say, I am going to amount to anything, and you can't tell me I'm not. Or you're going to begin and say, maybe I won't be anything. I kind of believe that, so I'll never achieve anything. And it's up to us to transform how
Mhm.
we absorb the words that we hear when we're younger. So you're correct when you said it starts way back when, but you can
Mhm.
change it all now to living in the now and
Mhm.
thinking about your future.
Mhm. And that's a really good point of thinking about your future, but not living a fantasy of the future.
Right.
But it's an interesting phenomenon people say wanting to buy a house, but then they're buying dinner out every 2 minutes, and they're not actually saving those small incremental amounts of money that would
Mhm.
actually become a house payment. And I think that's the other thing of living in the now, really say, well, what do I want right now? And we can change careers. I think, isn't it an average of 4 or 5 or more times in a lifetime that we change what we're actually doing? There are still people that will do the same career all the way through of their
Mhm.
life, but it's more likely in today's day and age that you're doing a career and then either the company goes away, you are unhappy with the company, you want to do something different. All sorts of reasons why we might change companies, but living in the now, this is one of the points in my book is um, to take that present moment and be the very best at whatever job or career you're doing at that moment, and
That's
not
right.
say, oh, I hate this job, because that's a weird negative energy in your head. We're saying, oh, this job isn't my first choice, but what can I learn every aspect about it? You become very valuable, and at that point then you can take whatever skills you've learned from that job and move to another job, and you'll probably get accolades from whoever you're working with that will say, you did a great job, let me write you a great review for your next job. Yeah.
I don't think I could have said it better. That was a perfect example. It really was. It really was. It's awesome. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's head on here. This is let's see, I want to go back one slide. This slide I thought was good
Hmm.
because we discussed this a little bit the other day. And share with us where you meet people from here and then they end up to here or over there. Uh,
Yeah.
and some of the people, examples of some clients that you may have had that actually happened.
Oh, the pissed off one. That rings a bell with a lot of people. They're so angry that they got laid off, or their boss is a jerk and that they got canned instead of the boss. And they hang on to it for forever until they realize that they have control of their own lives. They must release this anger. And then, opposite of that, the pissed off was the joy. And when you finally find something that you can identify with and are good at, just like you were just giving an example of it, if you do your best and you walk away or get laid off, if you can say to yourself, wow, I did the best job I could. It's too bad that they don't want this talent here, but I am going to go look for some place that will validate me and appreciate me. It brings in the joy much quicker than if you stayed on the pissed off language. And we don't even realize we're saying it or anything until you start getting into many conversations and people go, there he goes again. He just hasn't stopped talking about, his boss or how angry he is about being laid off. He hated the job anyway. What is he complaining about? And it's not until somebody identifies that person and says, will you please knock it off? That's all you do. You're doom and gloom. That it might click and they go, oh, I guess I have been negative. I mean, there's people that go through divorces that talk about their ex spouses for years. And in the dating realm, they meet these great people, and those people leave them because they never stop talking about the past. It's the
Oh,
same thing. It's the
you
same.
just led right into a story where my husband and I, Greg and I, were in this beautiful center, like info center. And we met these two people that had just retired from the post office. Those two said, we worked 25 years and hated every minute of it. And Greg and I were like, wow, what a way to live a life, right?
Right, right.
It just didn't make sense to me. In fact, my own father did complain pretty incessantly about his job at the post office, but he
Hmm.
also had 5 kids and a second job.
Right.
And Greg just said that was in Kentucky. I don't know where they were from though. Um, and the main thing, he complained a lot. And I remember stating, if I talk about memories, I will never work a job that I hate. And I ended up with a portfolio career because I've tried a lot of things and done a lot of things. It served me well, but I just thought it's your life. What I think, and you and I are trying to get to people, if you're living your life unhappy all the time,
Right.
is it a habit? Is it you were trained that way as a kid? Is it you're too fearful to move forward? There's another way, and that is to live joyfully, and
Right.
it will affect people in the long run. They don't realize when you're unhappy, a lot of times it affects your health.
Yes.
It can shorten your life to be just such an unhappy person.
Right.
Mentally, physically, people tend to be in more pain when they're unhappy. It's
Right.
an
High blood
interesting.
pressure. When
Oh
you're
yeah.
on that high state of being constantly stimulated with anger
Mhm.
issues and stuff like that, it really has a, like you said, a huge impact on your body. It
Huge
really
impact.
does.
Let's
You're in a
discuss a
high
few
trauma
more of
state.
those transformations. I think I'm don't have control of this chart. There we go. It's magic how it just shows back up again.
Right. So you go from no purpose, you sit there and you just don't know what you're going to do and why should I bother, because you're not linking it with some happiness. But when you finally find something to grab a hold of, the freedom that you feel is just so absolutely wonderful. It
Mhm.
really is. We go from so many of my clients don't have a clue of what they really want to do, and they're frustrated. It's like if they're on the gerbil wheel. But when you start dissecting things and you say, "Tell me the 5 things you never want to settle for," and a lot of these things are like, I want flexible schedules. I will never settle for going into the office again. I need to be validated. I need to be in a group or a team setting that really works well together. And you take them into a new environment that supports all their negative things that they said they never want to do, and then let go of that. The freedom they feel to be themselves and to grow is amazing. It's amazing. And then when you get into a career that you really, really love, then the euphoria steps in and you leave going, I never thought any of this was possible. But you have to train yourself. You have to be motivated to move yourself forward in these things.
Mhm. It's true. I validate what you just said. I left a job that I actually did love, but I knew it was time to move on.
Right.
And as I actually ended up opening a small natural health products brokerage, I was in euphoria.
Yeah.
I had the freedom. I was happy. I was energetic. I had all of those. And I had a gal say to me, "You're so brave." And I said, "Brave?" And she said, "Well, you left this job. Originally, I'd left the post office. And then people thought I was crazy. But I said, no, no, there's more for me out there." And then I moved to a natural health food store and I learned everything I could learn. And then I knew it was time to move on. And then I opened my business and
Right.
the like all of those things were actually it was true for me. And to just go,
It, it,
Yahoo! And
mm-hmm.
work was not work. I didn't work a day. I just went out and enjoyed and shared what I knew. And so I
And
think
that's when
that's,
you went through your transformation. You can
yeah,
feel it inside of yourself.
right. Right.
There's nothing, there's just no denying it.
Mhm. And could you speak just for a moment about when people hold back, check themselves, don't do what they want to do, and then that surprise they must feel as they're retired, and then there's nothing.
Well, they settled for so long, they didn't get the proper foundation for happiness. So they trudged through 35 years of working from the time they were 20 or 30 to 65 because it was safe. They supported their families, they drudged through it. They never learned any other skills. They never went outside of work and did anything else. They didn't volunteer anywhere. They didn't go to any of their children's activities if they had them. They just went to work and came home, ate dinner, watched TV, and went to bed. They stayed in that icky stage that we were talking about, where the angry, depressive stuff. So then you leave and you go, ah. But for them, there's no, oh, I can do things, because they didn't stretch the limit of their potential in any way, shape, or form. So it's
Mhm.
really retraining yourself to, when I talk about the freedom, now you have the freedom to do what you want, and they don't have a clue, because they didn't work on themselves during their working years.
Yeah.
They didn't want to take a chance. Maybe they lived in fear. Maybe they were brought up with trauma and they had alcoholic parents that they saw doom and gloom and never gave them options or believed in themselves. And they carried that through. But we're all in control of what we want for ourselves later on.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
retirement can be wonderful or it can be disastrous. But you
Right,
just got to
right,
look at
right.
your patterns. You went from one place that you had fun, but you knew in your gut you moved on. You said, I must move on. You went on, and you're doing something you love now,
Mm,
because inside there's something that couldn't be stifled. You love the freedom. You love encouraging people to be their
mm,
best. And it just carries on through retirement. I'm going to
mhm,
travel. I'm going to sell more products. I'm going
mhm,
to do these types of things. There's no stopping you. And it's like you're a beam of light and goodness, because you had that from the beginning. There was something in you that said, I just want to do more things for myself.
mhm. And in
You have to,
saying that, I would say, yes, I do, but I also know many people have it. We just, you and I help uncover that so
right.
that they, again, scratch the ground a little bit so that they can go, oh, I could do that. And we
Yeah,
go, yeah.
you
And
can.
we hold their hand and help them
Right.
cross over into this place they may have never felt before.
Maybe they didn't have anybody that opened the options like we do for them.
Right, right,
You know,
right.
they didn't
So
have
we're gonna,
mentors and things. Yeah.
yeah, we'll go on to that next slide. So we help people, you and I help people change their mindset to now, right
Hmm.
now.
Right.
And but if they choose to, they can stay right there with their swirling thoughts.
Hmm.
But we're curious, I bet, Anne, what are they getting out of staying where they're at?
Safety. I love living in the world of fear. It's where I know I'm safe. Yep. Yep.
Mhm. But the reality check is the earth keeps turning whether we want it to stop or not.
Right.
We don't feel it turning. We don't feel ourselves aging, but we
Hmm.
do. And uh, there's a quote, and let me think of it. He just said that, time waits for no man. It continues on. And we might think, well, someday, back to the someday, well, that's not going to happen. It has to be now. And it
Right.
can be, isn't it? And it can be those little tiny changes that don't hurt too much. And you feel that and you go, oh, that didn't hurt too bad. And
Right.
next and the next step.
Absolutely.
So I have a question for our audience, Anne.
Hmm.
Are you ready to create your plan B for 2023? It's kind of fun, rhymes. And
Yes.
there's
Look at.
still plenty of time in
Hmm.
this year because, again, we can think out and we can do the 5-year plan and all of that.
Hmm.
But right now, we're in 2023. It's got a nice ring to it. And
Yep.
if our audience, if someone's curious about what that would feel like for them, I'm going to encourage them to, number one, forgive yourself. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. And I want you to write a letter to yourself. I'm so sorry that I haven't paid attention. If you're talking to yourself, to myself,
Yeah.
whatever your name is, I'm so sorry that I have thought about it, but not created any action towards it.
Right.
And it's what can you say to this, forgiving yourself, Anne, in this
Oh my
process?
goodness. It's a very emotional journey when people reach that point where you really sit down and you say, I'm so sorry for not being nurturing enough to myself. I'm so sorry for not taking the chances to enrich my life. And you really have to think, why didn't I do that? But you don't dwell on the past too much, because all you can say is, today I'm starting a new path. So I forgive myself for not nurturing myself in the way I needed to, but today I'm going to change it up. And from this day forward, I'm going to write those gratitude things, those gratitude lists. I'm not going to apologize to anything, but I will honestly look in the mirror and say, it's okay. I love myself enough to start moving forward. I forgive myself for being the person I am, but the person I am is absolutely marvelous and wonderful.
Mm, yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
So we're going to zip through the rest of these slides fairly quickly here, but this one is really important. I know you do this with your clients, and I do with mine as well, about visualizing what that would look like. Yeah.
Absolutely. Write your list down. See, even before you go to bed, going, what would it feel like if I was talking in front of 300 people, or that I made the highest amount of sales in my quarter? Visualize it and then make your plans. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I did that one time. I said, I'm going to double my income. And I did it. And then I said
Wow.
it again. And I did it. And I
Wow.
actually, I don't even know if I formally wrote it down, but I said it out loud. So I say,
Mhm.
write it and then say it out loud to yourself. And that's one of those Louise Hay things where you're saying it to yourself in a mirror. Do some mirror work. If you have never looked up Louise Hay
Yep.
mirror work, it's absolutely amazing and
Right.
wonderful, and it works.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So write your action steps down, because
that's
it
right.
will help you every step of the way.
Hmm. And then you can do it on 3x5 cards and either have it in your purse or your wallet. You can post it in your bathroom and read them every day.
Absolutely.
And this is what I'd really like to say to everyone: find a safe, trusted confidant, guide, mentor to discuss your options and opportunities. It could be a family member, of course, a good friend, but sometimes it's good to have, would you say, someone that you don't know, that doesn't know you, that they can really listen to you. What do you think about that?
I think it's 100% on. Find somebody who's non-judgmental and has no, how should I say that, impact on the results.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of people that you're going to tell this to, and they're going to try to talk you out of it because it changes their dynamics.
Oh, you couldn't believe how many people said, you shouldn't quit the post office. I
Yeah.
said, good, you go do it. I said, I'm walking in 100-degree heat 6 hours a day. You go do it.
Right. Exactly.
This is your favorite, isn't it?
Yeah, because really, honestly, to be validated. So when you're making your list and you're telling that confidant, the mentor, the coach, or whatever, your plans, and they're supporting you, take a second to make yourself realize how you feel about that, because it's really true. People start to heal the moment they're heard. And when people start to say, those are wonderful ideas, Bonnie, you leaving the post office is the best thing you can do for yourself. Inside you feel so much better. Yeah, I trusted myself and I'm glad I did it. Yep.
Mhm. Feeling heard is something that we don't often do.
Yep.
One day, not one day, today, call a friend and just listen. Don't yabber yabber. Just listen to what they have to say. It's an amazing experience. But we can engage with people like ourselves that will do that professionally. But
Hmm.
practice it yourself. You'll be surprised what comes out.
Yep.
So this is kind of a fun thing. It was
I
just
love it.
all the positive things, trusting
Because you're going to do
yourself.
this every day. Hmm.
Yeah, do all these things. It's kind of
Yep.
fun. Yeah, just say
Right.
yes. So We encourage you to continue writing out your action steps, your dreams, your desires. Get a special notebook if you'd like. I think it's
Yep.
really important to do that. And contact Anne and find out what you might want for yourself and the action steps. You can contact myself. We both offer complimentary 30 minutes to help you
Absolutely.
explore your career choices. And at that point, if you like us and you're getting value, which you will, you'll want to work with us. And so if this isn't coming to you, but you say, I know at least one person, maybe two, that says they've talked about it but haven't gone to action to explore that. Please have them contact us. We'd love to share this 30-minute free complimentary session just to explore, get to know, and it may give you some insight for your life, for your future, for your not only your mental health, but your physical health and your financial wealth. Those are three. I think, Ann, next time we ought to talk about those three things, don't you?
Yeah. Very
Okay.
good, Bonnie.
I'm
Everybody, she's on a roll. See her transfer.
on a roll. So,
Yes, her ideas can't stop popping out of that brilliant head of hers. So she's
well,
aligned with who
you
she
can
is.
find
So
us
I
both
love
on
it.
LinkedIn. And if you don't have a LinkedIn account, that's the first thing I'm going to say to do. Go get yourself a LinkedIn account and
Yes.
connect with us both. And we'd love to be there with you, holding your hand, and just be a listening ear.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Ann and I love sharing our expertise, and we will be connecting with you as soon as you reach out to us. And we will see you probably in about 2 weeks. We love to do this and continue the journey for 2023. There's still lots left, and we'll see you there.
Bye.